recognition is this post from Beta O'Rourke. Beta.
Oh, God damn. Bodied. Beta O'Rourke, more like Beta O'Rourke. Never gonna recover. The actual picture here, this is actually base as fuck. And unironically, not Beta. Like, he's in Texas, running for the governor's seat. And he is wearing a shirt that says, "Don't mess with trans kids." He is being affirmatively pro-trans in an era where the right wing, with absolutely no evidence to substantiate any of it, are calling all LGBTQIA+ people and their allies pedos and groomers. And he is willing to go up to bat, at least through optics, with a shirt like this. Like, this is actually alpha, because you're gonna get a lot of shit for it. This is theoretically a losing issue in Texas. Like, this could potentially tip the scales outside of his favor. The idea that this is beta behavior is ridiculous. So I became aware of this channel some months ago. Friend of the show, Carter, twitch.tv/Carter, also has a YouTube channel, was going over a video of hers, Brett Cooper, the comments section with Brett Cooper, more like Brett Pooper, am I right? Anyway, was going over this channel, and I actually thought to go over one of them as well some months ago when I saw it. I just never really got around to it because other things were happening, more pressing concerns. But we'll be actually going over one of her videos. So if we could see here, if you sort by the oldest, this channel started uploading videos around 2 months ago, and they've already got 325,000 subs. And these videos do pretty good numbers, especially the shorts. And it's interesting because, like, who is this person? Like, how does this person get so big? What happens here? Is this just like explosive growth from a small mom and pop independent commentary YouTuber? Did they somehow get lucky in the algorithm and find a way to make it through the YouTube ecosystem and carve out this? They're on Daily Wire. They're on Daily Wire. They're on Daily Wire. They are a astroturfed, pretending to be a live streamer in their bedroom, Daily Wire pundit. And if you guys are unfamiliar, we've done videos on other people in the Daily Wire network. Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, a whole bunch of, failures that ended up turning to conservative punditry and content creation online as a way to grift money out of conservatives and people that generally hate the world and themselves. And Brett Cooper is the newest installment of that, which is really interesting to see. Now, these are good numbers, and you can't get numbers like these just off of like the astroturfing and backing you get from Daily Wire. There's obviously something more to it here. Like, she's obviously producing content that is keeping people engaged. It's one thing to get that massive boost in sub numbers and then, fizzle out. It's another thing to keep it, and it seems like she's keeping it. And I figured we should go over one of these videos. So we'll watch this one. It's a bit older, but it's a bit more interesting to me. Beta O'Rourke's Trans Day of Visibility post goes wrong. Let's see what's up. How did it go so wrong? Let's find out.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So yesterday was Transgender Day of Visibility.
And first, just right off the bat, of course, we've got to do the bisexual sitting, okay? You got the one leg up, trying to appeal to the people that don't know how to properly sit on chairs. Off to a good start.
Did not know that was a holiday. But to put it lightly, there was a lot going on the internet. TikTok had trans flags everywhere. Nickelodeon had like 12-year-old trans kids dancing. Twitter was chaos, but okay. I mean, what's new there? To make it easier on you, I have picked out my 3 favorite moments from this momentous holiday so that you can try to get the full picture.
Oh, boy. By the way, every single Daily Wire pundit has a version of this little ticker on the bottom that reminds people to subscribe and also talks about other projects. They all have this. They also all have the same editing, but you'll start to notice that if you've seen literally any other Daily Wire pundit. Why does she look exactly like Ben Shapiro? That's a lot of things. People are speculating about the likeliness that's going on there. I don't know. Some people have been speculating that she's like Ben Shapiro's niece or something. I don't think that's actually true, but the resemblance is a bit uncanny. I do agree with that. Maybe that's an intentional play. I don't know.
It was Transgender Day of Visibility. It was also the last day of Women's History Month.
Nice.
And on this day, the Washington Post decided to erase women. So they posted...
Wait, if I'm a conservative and I hear the Washington Post has erased women, I'm fucking popping off. I'm hooting and hollering. I'm crushing beer cans on my head. I'm having a great time because, it's boys' night in the conservative realm. I don't know why anybody would have a problem with that.
pregnant people at a much higher risk of breakthrough COVID, study shows.
And you would expect that to be the case too, right? Because when a person is pregnant, there's a variety of changes that happen to their body that could influence a lot of negative repercussions to being exposed to COVID, even if vaccinated, boosted. I would imagine your immune system probably suffers, your overall bodily function change. There's a variety of ways that breakthrough cases for COVID could happen more within people who are pregnant. It seems to make sense to me.
There is a woman in the cover photo of the article. Pregnant people.
Sure.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, what about it?
Most people in the comments did. Thank God.
Okay.
This first one killed me.
Wait, so what's wrong about it? People get pregnant. It's true. It's true. I don't listen. Maybe the take is that pregnant people is weird to them because they don't see people who are pregnant as actual people. Maybe. And I mean, considering that it is most often people who identify as women who are becoming pregnant, and the fact that conservative ideology wants women to return to tradition and essentially be the property of their husbands and fathers, that might actually be true. The idea of pregnant people might be offensive to them because they don't see women as people, and women are commonly the people getting pregnant.
I got a pregnancy test today and it came back negative. I'm a single dude and not ready for a baby yet. It must have been the Taco Bell. Just drink some smooth move and you'll be just fine, my dude.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Their tweet got ratio.
So obviously, it's the Daily Wire. We have to have these boomer memes edited in just in case there might happen to be an octogenarian watching. We gotta get a variety of memes in there that are more relevant to their interests just to keep them engaged, even though the demographic for content like this theoretically is supposed to skew younger.
And people were quick to call out the absurdity. Of calling women pregnant people.
Wait, how is that absurd? The absurdity of that is the idea that you don't think that pregnant people is a term that's legitimate. Because the scientific consensus when it comes to biology and sociology is that gender is a different thing than sex. Biological sex is your chromosomes, your secondary and primary sexual characteristics, the kind of genitalia you have, etc. And gender is a socially constructed way of categorizing people. That's the consensus in the medical and scientific fields that actually study and know more than just basic biology, but even advanced biology, which is scary to a lot of conservatives. So to disagree with that is actually the absurdity, funnily enough. But let's see what the absurdity is from Brett Cooper.
It reminds me of like 2 weeks ago when there was that ad that was calling women bleeders. They're just...
What? I'm sorry. That is weird. What the fuck is that? This is like some weird, like, feminist shit, right? Like the super feminists, right? This is my guess. Like, these people that would, like, call women bleeders or whatever are more likely to be TERFs, trans-exclusionary radical feminists, rather than, like, actual feminists. Sounds like an insult term. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of TERFs are, like, femcells, so it is what it is. Like, the crossover, the Venn diagram. Most bleeders know how they are impacted by their period, but unfortunately aren't in touch with their feelings and symptoms in other phases of their cycle. We are here to change that. Yoppy. Isn't this almost like a slur against white people? I don't actually know. So, like, bleeder is not the terminology I would use. Like, if we're trying to find a gender-neutral term for people who have periods, I would say menstruating people, probably the better one. Kind of like birthing people would be the one for people who give birth.
They're just calling us whatever they feel like it. It's ridiculous. Also, on the Transgender Day of Visibility...
Wait, are we going to get... So, we're almost 2 minutes in, and we haven't gotten a single argument yet. Maybe that's not what Brett Cooper does. Maybe Brett Cooper is supposed to be like more of a pundit and it's just supposed to give takes and isn't necessarily supposed to argue against the things that she sees. The unfortunate thing is that if you're going to cosplay as a live streamer and you're going to do so-called commentary or react content in the format of being a live streamer, that often entails doing more than just giving takes, but also entails reacting to other takes, often those you disagree with, like I'm doing right now, I would say more effectively than Brett Cooper. Maybe she could learn a thing or two by watching this program. And then you debunk them. But I don't know, maybe they're trying to like thread the needle between the two.
It was announced that Caitlyn Jenner would be joining Fox as a contributor. AP for...
Wait, did this come out on the Trans Day of Visibility? If so, I feel like that'd be fucking hilarious. Like, I would find this funny. As much as I disagree with Caitlyn Jenner's politics, this actually seems really funny to me. Wait, let me see if I can find this. Oh, it was! On March 31st from the Associated Press on the Trans Day of Visibility. That's fucking hilarious. I find this funny. Cancel me if you want. Fox News announcing that they've hired Caitlyn Jenner a trans woman, a self-hating trans woman, I suppose, as a contributor, actually fucking funny. All right, I'll give Fox News the W for that one.
They said, Fox News Channel says it has hired Caitlyn Jenner as a contributor, with her first appearance set for Thursday on Sean Hannity's program. The network said Jenner will offer commentary and analysis across various Fox News media platforms. Listen, to be honest, nobody seems happy about this. I mean, conservatives are angry at Fox for not being conservative enough. It's
like, the idea that Fox News is too liberal is absolutely patently absurd. Like, you have to literally be clinically insane. There's no other way you could have that opinion. But the reason why people on the left don't like Caitlyn Jenner is not that she's betrayed the trans community. To think that there can't be self-hating trans people in the broader trans community and people willing to sell out the rights of the broader movement is unironically transphobic. Like, there are trans people of all stripes. There are pro-trans rights, pro-trans liberation people like I am, and there are anti-trans rights trans people like Caitlyn Jenner is. The idea that they all have to have the same line of thought is transphobic. But that's not often what left-wing people will say. Left-wing people are more disappointed in Caitlyn Jenner in that she literally works against the best interests of the broader community. Like, even if her politics, even if her personal worldview differs from those things, that's fine. But the actual policies she supports, the politicians she supports, and the program she is now a contributor to, Fox News, actively works against the liberation of trans people, which she happens to be a part of the community of. That's the problem. It's not so much a betrayal of the trans community as much as it is like an unfortunate consequence of the fact that people have different ideas and views, and there are going to be people like Caitlyn Jenner. Anyway.
All in all, this was not a very tolerant Trans Day of Visibility.
How so? You've literally just cherry-picked the negative things, or the things that you see as negative, and you've completely disregarded the absolute sea of pro-trans posts that were made on the Trans Day of Visibility. There was also a sea of people just like posting selfies and transition timelines and stories of their accepting family and yada 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 on this day. Like, why didn't you show any of those, is my question. It's almost like we have an agenda or something.
We're coming back to J.K. Rowling here. Somebody says, as always, like every other Trans Visibility Day, I wish a heartfelt you to J.K. Rowling and Caitlyn Jenner.
What an absolute based comment. Let's go. The freest of speech that one has ever used. Fuck J.K. Rowling and fuck Caitlyn Jenner. I'll say it again. Fuck J.K. Rowling and fuck Caitlyn Jenner. True. They actively work against the liberation of trans people. What do you want me to say? I just want equality for everybody. They're standing in the way. I disagree with their points. I debunk their points. It is what it is. We live in a free country. Let's go. Hell yeah, brother.
Things are going great on the internet.
What's wrong with this? So like, we're going to read things, but we're not even going to react to them past, this is dumb, or, things are going great. Like, come on, man. What is this, dude? You all in my chat room do not understand just how much effort I put into this content. Maybe you do. But now you can see somebody who puts infinitely less effort into their content compared to me, okay? And I hope that gives you a bit of an insight into how lucky you... I'm just kidding. I'm a fucking nobody, and it is what it is. I do try hard. I have fun. It is fun. If you enjoy it, you do. If you don't, you don't. I don't care. But it's just funny because, like, this person has the Daily Wire behind them. And this is the kind of content that they're capable of producing, which apparently is worth 227,000 views.
James commented and said, so every other Kardashian turned them down.
Lol.
Yeah, I'm envisioning a Kim Kardashian.
This is a funny joke. But also, I'm pretty sure the Kardashians are probably more socially progressive, so I don't know why they would be on Fox News.
Kardashian legal show, like Judge Kim.
That is funny, though, in my opinion.
Judge Judy.
This is so cringe.
True.
Guilty.
LOL, it's the perfect landing for long blonde-haired women willing to say anything to get attention.
True.
Caitlyn Jenner being hired by...
I like how we just laugh at that because we know it's true. Thank God. I think Brett Cooper, all right, we give her some credit. Actually funny. Actually true.
Fox News makes sense. It's basically the Keeping Up with the Kardashians of news channels. Like I said, nobody was happy about this except Tomi Lahren. Tomi Lahren was happy. She tweeted about it. She's friends with Jenner, so
okay.
Good news for Tomi. They're going to be colleagues now.
Pog.
The last internet moment.
Who fucking asked, dude? What is this? Beto O'Rourke's Trans Day of Visibility post goes wrong, and she wanted to show 3 posts from the Trans Day of Visibility. We've gone over the birthing people one, which is literally like scientifically accurate, and we barely talk about it, aside from like, hey, isn't that weird? And then we move on to Caitlyn Jenner, which theoretically this is a dub for the right. And then we look at the comments and they're boring as hell. And now we're moving on. What is this video? I might have to watch another one of these because this is like woefully inadequate. Like, it's getting views, so I mean, it is what it is. Like, they're getting the bag, but in terms of like the actual content here, the value of it, outside of a money-making mechanism, kind of, you know, leaving me a bit famished, really. We're starving over here for good content.
Recognition is this post from Beto O'Rourke. Sorry, Beto.
Oh, God damn, bodied. Beto O'Rourke, more like Beta O'Rourke, never gonna recover. The actual picture here, this is actually base as fuck, and unironically not beta. Like, he's in Texas running for the governor's seat, and he is wearing a shirt that says don't mess with trans kids. He is being affirmatively pro-trans in an era where the right wing, with absolutely no evidence to substantiate any of it, are calling all LGBTQIA plus people and their allies pedos and groomers, and he is willing to go up to bat, at least through optics, with a shirt like this. Like, this is actually alpha, because you're gonna get a lot of shit for it. This is theoretically a losing issue in Texas. Like, this could potentially tip the scales outside of his favor. The idea that this is beta behavior is ridiculous.
It's him wearing a t-shirt that says don't mess with trans kids, with some, you know, Texas symbolism on the shirt. People have a lot of thoughts. First and foremost, about his teeth. People went after his teeth.
Sure.
I mean, they're not wrong. They kind of look like mouth of Sauron teeth, so.
And who is this?
Hilarious. So, like, I don't give a fuck if you have fucked up teeth. The amount of right-wingers out there that are literally victims of right-wing propaganda and policy can't afford to go to a dentist. Like, there are so many right-wing people out there, and left-wing people. Like, this is a broad problem that affects literally everybody. There are so many people, myself included, who have not had access to a dentist because they're considered like luxury bones or whatever. Like, I don't know if this is like the line of logic you want to go against. Obviously, it's just look shaming, but if you look a little bit deeper than that, which conservatives never will do because they don't have the intellectual capacity to do it, this is actually a broader problem. Like, maybe Beta O'Rourke is a victim of right-wing policy not making dentist visits that accessible, and this is why he's got fucked up teeth. But I don't care. Like, tell me you don't have an argument without telling me you don't have an argument, man.
Jack Posobiec just simply put a box.
By the way, neo-Nazi literally has posted 1488 shit. For those of you who don't know, it's a dog whistle 1488. A way to say that you're a Nazi. It's the 14 words, which is a white supremacist line of thought to secure a future for your children, yada, yada, yada. 88 being HH in the alphabet for Hitler, you know? But that's what that is. And he's done this several times. So to like cite a neo-Nazi for this, there are other people making jokes like these. Like, come on.
This person says, is this a mugshot from another DUI?
Hilarious.
Which, I mean,
people struggle with alcoholism. You wanna wager a guess how many right-wingers, how many conservatives, and even politicians have been busted for DUIs? This is not just a liberal Democrat thing.
Come on, it is funny, but is that really what we should be focusing on in this photo? Like,
True.
I feel like there's a lot of other stuff that we should address. This photo was paid for by the campaign to re-elect Governor Greg Abbott.
This is actually why he's not a beta for posting this picture. It's unironically true that being pro-trans in Texas while running for the governorship, while Greg Abbott is literally trying to mandate child abuse by the state against literally all kids, but nonetheless kids that have questions about their gender identity and unironically understand more about, you know, sociological concepts than do Greg Abbott and his ilk. Like, it's literally a losing issue to be that forthcoming on. The fact that he's done it is literally liable to help Greg Abbott, but that's why he's not a beta for doing it. Like, you can't simultaneously call him a beta and then be like, oh my God, what he's doing right now is liable to lose him the election. Like, yeah, he's doing it because he believes in it, theoretically. It could just be words, but he's theoretically doing it because he believes in it. You don't have to, as a Democrat in Texas, take a pro-trans stance because, like, the status quo is to be okay with transphobia, unfortunately. Like, you could just not say anything. The fact that he did is being pointed out here, and we're still gonna make fun of the guy for being not alpha enough.
You're just giving him good marketing.
True.
Dude. Let kids become adults before making life-altering decisions. Just that simple.
It's that simple. It's that simple. What life-altering decisions, though? Are we gonna say anything? Are we gonna elaborate on that? Probably not. I don't have many high hopes. The thing about that is, the so-called life-altering shit, first of all, it's incredibly difficult for all people, adults included, to get access to trans healthcare, to get access to HRT, hormones, hormone blockers, to get access to a variety of surgeries like bottom surgery, top surgery even. It's incredibly difficult for adults to get this. For kids, for younger people, it's even harder, and it should be, in my opinion. When it comes to children, and I guess it depends on the age range we're talking about, because, like, this is not happening to, like, 2-year-olds. They go to medical professionals, mental health professionals, and get regular screenings over the course of years. They get mental health screenings, they get, obviously, the standard physicals that every kid gets, everybody that goes to a doctor gets, and you get assessed over time with the parents' input as to whether or not this is just, like, a gender non-conforming person, or if the kid is like just wants to play with Barbie dolls instead of G.I. Joes, but they're a boy or whatever, and it's just like a thing that they like to do, but not necessarily indicative of their gender identity differing from their biological sex as was assigned at birth. And over time, you figure that out, you go through all the tests, several years often this takes, if you can even get a doctor that does this. And then eventually, if it turns out that they determine that the kid might be trans, they will usually prescribe puberty blockers, which are completely reversible, by the way. And if it turns out that through this rigorous medical process, those kids turn out to be like, oh, no, I'm actually a boy and I was assigned male at birth, so I'm a boy and that's what it is, I'm not actually trans, and they determine that through the medical professionals and also the child and also the parents, then they take them off the puberty blockers and they're fine. And then if it turns out that the kid is actually trans, then they stay on the puberty blocker and then they move on to HRT, where they have the hormones that better correlate to the gender identity that they identify as. And it is what it is. Like, it's a very, very extensive process that nobody's just doing willy-nilly, fun, like no pun intended. The idea that people are just, you know, deciding one day that they're trans and it's like, okay, time to cut the cock and balls off, is not happening. This is a delusion invented in the minds of conservatives to try to help explain the fact that they don't understand basic biology or sociology or literally anything they talk about. But let's see, okay? Let's see if Brett Cooper has more to substantiate the argument that this reply that says let kids become adults before making life-altering decisions. Let's see what those decisions are.
We're making life-altering decisions. Just that simple. See, these comments, they always just... they're depressing. All right, listen to this. As a non...
What do you mean? How are you just... So the entire point of this channel is to read comments, which, you know, it's called the comment section, so it's in the name, fine. But typically when you see people reading comments, they're usually supposed to respond to them. But literally all we've seen is no arguments. Like, that's all we're seeing. There's no arguments here. It's just like, huh, isn't that crazy? Isn't that funny? Isn't that stupid? That's literally all we're getting. If you watch my shit, which is like an actual organic method of what she's trying to cosplay right now, you'll find that I'm actually explaining these things and reacting to them past like exhaling forcefully through my nose at a so-called funny tweet. Like, this is why I say the Daily Wire is affirmative action for failed artists. It is. And I can substantiate that claim as well. So for the other Daily Wire hacks, this was a funny post and it's actually true. Ben Shapiro, failed scriptwriter and book writer turned right-wing activist. He has tried to get into Hollywood in the past in order to write scripts, didn't work out. Now he's a right-wing activist. Now he's a pundit online, and he's obviously getting money from think tanks and everything else. It's a very easy throughput to be like, okay, I failed at this thing that I actually cared about. Now I'm going to go and do this thing that I don't necessarily care about as much, or maybe he does. And I'm going to get money from right-wing think tanks, which the Daily Wire does. And there goes the rest of my life. That's what it is now. Whatever. Steven Crowder, failed comedian turned right-wing activist. So luckily for this case, Steven Crowder, I don't think is affiliated with Daily Wire. He's doing his own thing. He's actually more organic than the Daily Wire people might be. However, he's still got funding from right-wing think tanks. So he's still got the participation trophy there. Michael Knowles, failed actor turned right-wing activist. Also, there's a lot of clips of his acting on YouTube and on other websites, and it's very funny. And I mean, it is what it is. Like, you're an aspiring actor. You're not going to be doing like Martin Scorsese, you know, even Danny DeVito level acting all the time. When you're starting, it is what it is. You can make fun of it for what it is. It's fine. It's funny. But it did fail. And now he's a right-wing activist. Anyone noticing a pattern? Well, funnily enough, when it comes to Brett Cooper, oh, would you look at that? We've got an IMDb page for Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper is a graduate of UCLA with a major in English literature. What a fucking useless liberal arts degree. What are you, a liberal? And a minor in business. Well, at least you got the minor in business there because, you know, it's more in line with the standard expectation. From UC Berkeley's Hasan? School of Business. Raised in Tennessee, Brett took up a second residence in Los Angeles, a liberal LA? Just like Ben Shapiro, by the way. At age 10, to further her professional acting career. Brett is an ambassador and independent content creator for both PragerU and Turning Point USA, and also the Daily Wire now, it would seem, which isn't on here. Guess they didn't make the cut. What's funny about this, too, is that we've got more, actually. Well, as it turns out, we got an Instagram post where we're, to give her credit, being transparent about the operation here. We've got this makeup room. What is this for? What is this makeup for? Is she doing some other shit with the Daily Wire? What's this? Oh, wait. Well, this looks familiar. What's this? Oh, it's not even her room. It's not even her room. It's actually a set. It's a set in what looks like a warehouse. They couldn't even stick to the material so much as to literally just set up a place in her house to do this. Almost every live streamer you know operates out of their fucking house. Like, this is my bedroom. This is where I am right now. I've got my dresser over here. I've got my bed. If this was a studio set, that would be really sad, okay? Because the interior design here, leaving a bit to be desired. So, like, the idea that we're going to cosplay as a live streamer, produce garbage content like this, which at least it seems like the conservatives are willing to lap up like the hungry little doggies that they are, at least not have it be a studio with a makeup team. Like, what is that, man? Like, that's just offensive. Also, she's worked for TPUSA before. And funnily enough, this person, McKenna Kelly, she says, while I was reporting out my Turning Point story in December, I came across a Prezi presentation published by a junior level staffer pitching a TPUSA social media rebrand. The Nelk boys were mentioned as content inspiration for what it's worth. Also, wait, she's literally talked about these people actually. At Nelk, 7.3 million subs. So the Nelk boys were mentioned as content inspiration for what it's worth. So we've got outside creators, Nelk Boys, Full Send Podcast, Logan Paul, Impulsive, Daily Wire, Memes, Barstool Sports, Episode Clipping, Campus Presence. Oh, we also got Hasanabi, Twitch streaming. It seems like for this, the Daily Wire has decided that that was a good idea, that they wanted to replicate the success of Hasan's Twitch streaming career. And this is their attempt at doing that with Brett Cooper, where they've got this set of this room that's not actually even her room, where she pretends to be a live streamer, where in this video, she's just responding to like Twitter comments. And I mean, it's the name of the channel. You don't expect all live streams. So let's see, does Brett Cooper actually do live streams? If they're going to try to be Hasan Piker, are we actually doing live streams? We could look at past live streams here. These are the ones that are listed anyway. Oh, we got 3 of them, actually. So we've got from 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 1 month ago. We were looking at this earlier when I was looking.
This whole conspiracy that they're actually Scientology.
And it looks like she does actually do some live streaming. Now, not that often, but at least she's doing it. So at least there's that. But the funny thing is that this is still from that same set. It's not even from her own house, which is usually that's how Hasanabi does it, if this is the direction they're trying to go in. And yeah, it's not even an hour-long live stream. The average CONURE broadcast that this video is clipped from right now is 8 hours. If you look at my past broadcasts, we've got 7 hours. That's a shorter one. We got 14 and a half hours, 9 hours, 7 and a half, 7, 8. Though this was actually a 10 and a half because these are both the same day. You see I'm wearing the same outfit. My internet just died, so I had to reset my OBS or some shit. 8 hours, 7 and a half, 7, 8, 9. Now you could say that, I got no life or something, but people seem to enjoy what they're watching. And Hasan is the same way. Like, Hasan does longer hours than I do and streams more than I do. I stream every other day. Hasan streams every day. But like, we're going to do an hour-long live stream. We got not even 50 minutes. And no, to her credit, she's reading super chats. She's got a chat window. She's doing the usual live streamer thing where you have this like recursive display of like your actual live stream like this, She's trying a little bit, and I can appreciate that, I suppose. But like, most of this is just reading comments on posts and like laughing about them. Like going, isn't that funny? Or, that's stupid. And that's literally it. I'm hearing no arguments here. Like, even Hasan, for as much as he doesn't like debate pros, right? He doesn't like debating. At least he still like engages with his chat, like even oppositional figures in his chat. and like debates them over like his voice and their text. Like he responds and breaks down and debunks the arguments he's reading and reacting to. Like, what is this, man?
Un-American. Can someone explain to me the obsession that you have for trans whatever? I never even met one in my life, but this seems to be the most important subject in your lives.
Yeah, and who's making it that, by the way? Who's making it that? Any kind of guesses? Anybody want to bet some money on who it is that's making the trans whatever the most important issue of your lives? Any question? I wonder. Does anybody know? Maybe offer a guess in the comments down below. Who's making this the most important subject in our lives? Because before this point, it wasn't. Recently, it exploded in popularity. So let's think. What important events are coming up? Well, May Day is today, which is cool. It's a pro-Labor Day. Mother's Day is coming up. I don't think it's for that, though. Wait, when? Oh, wait. I think I know. Wait. Midterm elections 2022. Oh, of course. So this is a major thing. The United States 2022 midterm elections are coming up this year in November. And because the right literally doesn't have any policy positions outside of cutting taxes for the rich, making it easier for corporations to exploit the labor of their workers, skim more money off the top while shafting the little guy, the only thing they can offer is a boogeyman and other demographic that they can pretend is simultaneously weak and pathetic and also the greatest threat to Western civilization. This time around, it just happens to be trans people. Remember the CRT thing? Remember back when critical race theory, more like critical racist theory, am I right, was the major flavor of the week, pushed entirely by the right wing into the spectacle that it was? That was before the previous elections. Whoa, would you imagine that? The CRT was a veiled way to pit people against black and brown people as the other. The only reason we're talking about all of this trans shit is because of the right wing, because of people like Brett Cooper. Because Republican politicians need a boogeyman to scare the dumbass fucking voters that vote for them. And now it's just trans people. Now trans people have invaded the country, trying to trans your kids. They're trying to make your kids gay. They're putting chemicals in the water that are feminizing your grandma, and that's what it is. It's just a culture war thing that they can act like triggered little snowflakes about so that they can weaponize the humanity of oppressed people for votes. That's it. That's all it is. The obsession is from the right. The left is like, okay, can we have equality? Can trans people not be systemically oppressed in society? That would be cool, in my opinion. And the right's like, no, you're all PDF files and groomers, actually, and you should all be sent to camps. It seems like there is an outsized influence from the right on this issue. But let's see how Brett Cooper understands the situation.
Guys, this is how people see us. That our country is obsessed with trans people. I mean, they're not wrong. The left is obsessed with changing our entire society and culture for less than 1% of the population. And the right is...
Sorry. Changing our entire society and culture for less than 1% of the population. Wait. Does anybody want to give me the demographic statistics for the amount of African people that were brought here, stolen from Africa, and enslaved to build this country? How they shaped up against the rest of the American population? Because I would imagine that there was probably more white people than black people. And yet, Frederick Douglass and a variety of other civil rights fighters the world over were fighting to abolish slavery. I'm pretty sure they were not a massive part, despite making up only 13% of the population, et cetera, in the modern context. But we're still going to fight for them because we believe in the human rights that all people are owed. It's the same for trans people.
I mean, the fact that this has become such a huge issue in the first place is just mind-boggling, and it's entirely your side of the fence's design. This wouldn't be the massive issue it was if elections weren't rolling around. And because Republicans are impotent and stupid, they don't have any actual policies that help the people that vote for them. So instead, they have to be like, oh my God, the trans people, they're so scary. And then they try to get people to vote for them that way. Honestly embarrassing that it's the way that people see our country.
True. It is embarrassing. It's just unfortunate that the right wing is such an embarrassment in this country to the rest of the world. Like, the rest of the world, they're laughing at us, folks. Believe me, many people are saying that the whole world is laughing at us because we can't even figure out how to properly fund our healthcare system. We have medical bankruptcy, and we're the richest country the face of the planet has ever seen. We allow for people to die because they forego necessary medical procedures because they can't afford it. We don't even incentivize people to get higher education to become more productive members of society in order to, put them in STEM fields so they can generate income for powerful tech owners and other administrative positions for a variety of other corporations. Like, we don't even do that. The whole world is laughing at us, folks. Believe me. Believe me, the United States is a laughingstock ruled by weak men. If you didn't want the whole world to laugh at us, you'd probably be closer to the left than the right, because the policy positions that the left supports, that I support, make it so that we would far and away outclass the rest of the world.
So on that note, that very happy note, happy belated Transgender Visibility Day.
We've had no arguments this entire video.
Had a good week.
What the fuck?
Do you want to be the only...
No, I don't. Shut the fuck up. This was such a dog shit video. It's literally just, let's look at a thing that happened. Let's look at some of the comments that are agreeing with my point of view, my worldview. Like, this video is literally just like an echo chamber made into content. Because, like, we got some comments that were, like, disagreeing with right-wing ideas, like this one. And as always, fuck J.K. Rowling, fuck Caitlyn Jenner. But, like, the response to this was nothing. Listen.
Wish a heartfelt you to J.K. Rowling and Caitlyn Jenner. Things are going great on the internet.
This is fine.
James comments.
So we've got memes and things are going great on the internet when we get a person that ostensibly disagrees with Brett Cooper. And that's all we get. We get nothing. It's super low effort. Like, there are people streaming out of their fucking college dorms on Wi-Fi with like a 240p webcam that are putting more effort into their content than this person who literally has Daily Wire backing, who's in a completely astroturf position, whose level of prominence is literally just a participation trophy. Like, come on, man, at least put some effort in. You've got the resources backing you. You could be doing so much crazy shit, but this is what we get? Maybe we'll watch another video at some point. This segment has already gone on long enough, but like, this is just sad. Like, it's disappointing. Like, I want to see actual arguments. This person has no arguments. It's just depressing, man. Because, like, she doesn't even edit her own videos. They've got the Daily Wire editing team. She doesn't even, I would imagine she doesn't even write, like, her own scripts. I'm pretty sure she may write some of them. She probably has, like, a team of people that help her do that. She doesn't even do her own makeup, as it would turn out, which is, you know, fair enough. If I could have someone do my makeup every goddamn day for my streams, I definitely would take advantage of that. But I don't, because I'm not a fucking industry plant. I only do eyeliner currently because I'm too fucking lazy to learn the rest of this shit. So, like, I don't know, man. Oh no, it's absolutely just a job. This is just a way for her to make money. She doesn't care about anything she's saying. She doesn't take a stance on anything. It's just boring. But I guess this is, to give her credit, this is the right wing personified. Like, maybe this is a more honest interpretation, really, of right-wing punditry, of right-wing content creation on the internet. Like, they don't actually believe in the things they're saying. They're oftentimes getting money from think tanks in order to say the things they're saying. They have entire teams of people that are going to try to make them look as organic as possible, even though they're not. So, like, we've got some aesthetics where we're trying to, like, pull the wool over people's eyes and trick people into thinking, like, this is some mom and pop fucking creator. But, like, it's a bit of a more honest interpretation. No real arguments, no sources, no facts, no studies cited, nothing. It's just bland, boring, aesthetics-driven content. Maybe that's more honest than we give it credit for. That was a good segment. I think that was fun. I got a fun time. Kind of on one, if I do say so myself. That's right-wing content creation for you. Boring, uninspired, lazy. Just a method for generating profit. That's it. And, you know, hopefully pushing their propaganda on the side for them. I feel like the Transpanic's is going to have a much longer shelf life than CRT, sadly. Oh, absolutely it will, unfortunately. That's because there are actual people being targeted. For CRT, it was just like a vague idea that the right completely misunderstood, and it wasn't targeting anybody directly. It was targeted at black and brown people, don't get me wrong. It was a method to continue the oppression of black and brown people, and specifically to allow for the indoctrination of children, which is also what's being weaponized as well by the right. But because the recent trans shit is targeting like actual human beings, like directly, like names are being dropped, whereas previously in CRT, like it was kind of like they were dropping names every now and again, but like not, you know the difference. Like there's a difference there. Bro, it's less than 1% for trans people. There's definitely more than that, especially when counting eggs. Well, the thing about that is that they want that to be the case. The idea that trans people make up less than 1% of the population or whatever is, depending on the stats you're looking at, it can be accurate. I don't think that, you would imagine there are infinitely more cis people than are trans people. But when right-wingers bring up the fact that that's such a small percentage of the population, they're more so stating intent for what they want to see rather than describing reality as it exists. Because they want the least amount of trans people possible in society. And their methods for doing that will range. So they'll try to indoctrinate kids by not teaching them basic biology and sociology and try to make it so that if a kid is actually trans, they'll try to, you know, beat it out of them, sometimes actually and sometimes metaphorically. And they'll also try to, you know, scare people from coming out by a lot of these bills as well, penalizing people for literally nothing. And it's just a method to try to make it so that less and less people like are out as trans. It's a statement of intent when they say it's a small percentage of the population rather than a statement of like the reality. It could conform in some ways to reality in that there aren't like this massive wave of trans people out there, but it's more of a statement of intent. I heard it would probably be closer to 4% for the amount of trans people in the population. If there's no social stigma attached to being trans, yeah, and that's a terrifying prospect. Like, that's a terrifying theory to right-wingers because they can only do anything motivated by fear, disgust, and a need for power. Because they're all insecure. They want to keep that as low as possible. And through force, apparently, is their choice nowadays. Before, it was like passively through like trying to make cultural change to not accept trans people. But LGBT advocacy has worked against them, luckily. So now they're doing it through force, through legislation. They already were, but like they're more upfront about it. So I'm obviously still streaming. I've just been catching up on chat and talking to chat. I just wanted to add, I just realized that this video is 5.5 minutes long, and I spent like an hour creating content from it, which is kind of absurd to me. Like, I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. People in chat are being like, oh, you brought up real points and made actual arguments, and yeah, and maybe that's true. I hope that's true. Like, I was able to turn this 5.5 minute slop into like the statue of Socrates over the course of an hour. Like, this is the difference between you and me, Brett Cooper. Like, I'm actually a live streamer doing this shit compared to you. Like, I would love to see Brett Cooper try to do my job, to do the job of other people like me on the left. It wouldn't happen. There's no shot. She'd get bored. Her live streams, literally the longest live stream is done is 50 minutes long. Like, there's no shot. It's not happening. Like, and if you want that kind of content, you come to me. It's not always been the case that I've been confident in my content, but it is now, because I think I've gotten a lot better at it. So, it is what it is, I guess. This video's CONURE call out is actually 2 people, because I'm dumb as hell and forgot to do the CONURE call out last video. Forgot to do the CONURE call out. I'm dumb as hell. Giga Gray and Kamolga are the CONURE callouts for today's video. Congratulations. Thanks so much for the continued support. And also thank you very much to Kamolga for being a patron on my Patreon. There's a link to that right there. You could also do that if you want to give me money and you have the money to give it. Wow, but you don't have to do it, but if you can, it's cool. There's also a different camera here, you've noticed. I've got a new setup, not in this video that you're currently watching, but perhaps future videos. I happen to find that this angle is cooler. The camera is also higher quality. The lighting and the settings are better as well. It's kind of neat. If you'd like to be the next CONURE call out, all you got to do is follow me on Twitter at CONURECC. Retweet my video links when they go live, the same as it always is. Remember to subscribe to the channel. All notifications on when you hit the bell. Would appreciate that as well. Leave a like if you'd like. Comment something super spicy down below. And I don't know, be kind to one another. It's important.